Shipibo Kanibo indigenous community of Santa Clara de Uchunya is struggling against the dispossession and deforestation of their ancestral lands due to the aggressive expansion of oil palm. Since 2015, the Federation of Native Communities of Ucayali, the Institute of Legal Defense, and Forest Peoples Program have supported the community located in the Ucayali region of the Peruvian Amazon to use legal and advocacy strategies to challenge land rights violations, agribusiness-led deforestation, and violence against community leaders. The community has secured important victories and restricted the expansion of the plantations, while they continue to strive for the full restitution and remediation of their lands.
This project addresses the drivers of land rights abuses, deforestation, and violence against indigenous Amazonian peoples by providing legal, technical, and advocacy support to the emblematic case of Santa Clara de Uchunya. Since their ancestral lands were grabbed by land traffickers and US-financed palm oil company in 2012, the community has taken a series of actions to protect their forests and recover legal and practical control over their ancestral territory. Since 2015, the community has filed criminal complaints over deforestation and a constitutional lawsuit demanding the restitution, collective titling, and remediation of their ancestral lands. If successful, this case will set a powerful legal precedent for the protection of indigenous territories in the Peruvian Amazon, where more than 20 million hectares of indigenous lands remain untitled and highly vulnerable to dispossession.
COVID-19 has had devastating impacts for indigenous peoples. The community faced the pandemic already in a precarious situation. Their access to nutritious food and traditional plant medicines both severely impacted by the deforestation. This problem became even more serious as the plantation and its large workforce became a major vector for contagion in the area. The lockdown also saw a sharp rise in violence and killings against indigenous leaders across the Amazon, with the Peruvian state doing very little to effectively ensure their protection.
Our main approaches include legal and advocacy support, assisting the community to patrol, monitor, and demarcate their lands, strategic litigation, advocacy, and communications actions to raise the profile of their case, and legal defense and the use of international human rights mechanisms for leaders facing threats and criminalization.
Actions and impacts. The UN Special Rapporteur for Human Rights Defenders meeting with community leaders and calling upon the Peruvian state to reduce risks to defenders by guaranteeing indigenous peoples' collective territorial rights. The Ucayali regional government cancelling an ordinance which sought to strip forest protections over more than 3.5 million hectares of rainforest and facilitate the invasion of indigenous lands. Norway's Sovereign Wealth Fund divesting from Peru's largest consumer goods company, Alicorp, after the community denounced it for buying conflict palm oil. Supporting Santa Clara and neighboring communities with emergency medicines, hygiene, and food supplies. Bringing criminal charges against the palm oil company to hold them to account for exposing workers and communities to contagion. Thousands of people in Peru and internationally participating in solidarity campaigns with the community, to community leaders participating in a special hearing with the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights, the Commission granting precautionary measures to community leaders, Peru's environmental regulator ordering the palm oil company to suspend its operations and pay a $2.5 million fine over environmental damages.
In the future, we plan to support Santa Clara de Uchunya to continue strengthening their protection and management of their lands, including through community-led initiatives to strengthen community livelihoods and well-being. Pressure Peru's Constitutional Court to issue its decision over the community's land claim. End of the palm oil company's impunity by holding it to account for deforestation and human rights violations. Santa Clara de Uchunya remains determined in their struggle to regain their lands. It is only by securing justice for communities like them that we can put an end to corporate impunity and protect the Amazon.